Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United hosting Wolves in the Premier League. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Joe Smith. Joe, are you excited? We're winning football matches, Joe.
Very excited. We're winning football match, Jay.
Yeah, sorry, I pluralised it.
Well, we beat Wolves not so long ago as well.
Well, there you go. That counts.
Let's try and do it again.
Yeah.
It feels all right. It feels a little bit all right at the minute.
It does,
Chelsea
doesn't it?
lost. It's annoying that we're behind Liverpool. We are behind Chelsea technically, but same points. We're doing okay.
Chelsea.
Right.
Haven't Chelsea got to play City as well? So
in the very near future,
so there's an opportunity here for Manchester United. Not like you say, we've played Wolves, we've beaten Wolves as well, 4-1 away from home. Wolves are on course to be the worst Premier League team ever.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it feels like this is the sort of, you know, the perfect time to play this team. And also, the manager has been talking about the formation, which people get fed up of us talking about the formation, don't they? They're like, oh, you guys talk about the system and the formation a lot. Well, the manager's been speaking about it in his press conference and talking about adapting his formation. What did you make of his comments and what did you make of that idea?
I think it's relatively consistent with what he said all along. I think that the fact that he's seen that there's changes that need to be made and making them, I think is good. I think whether he could have done it a bit earlier, whether he should have done it from the start, people will debate. My personal opinion is that if he'd have done it from the very start, that's one thing because he's come to a new club, seen what the lay of the land is and gone with it. I could have understood that. If he'd done it 2, 3, 4 months in, I think it would look really weak. And not that you should just go so deep, sunk cost fallacy, keep going, when it's so bad that you have to do something, you do. Because I don't think that's quite the case. I think when the time came that he has started to tweak it, the last 2 or 3 weeks, the results haven't all been brilliant, but he's at the high point of his United career in terms of points per game, in terms of performances. Whether we like the results, whether we think it's good enough or not, he's doing better now than he has done any other time for the last sort of 14 months, whatever it is. So he's done it in a relative position of strength, even if it's not particularly strong, which I think is the right way to do it. He probably would have liked to have been maybe third in the league, maybe won 4 or 5 in a row before he changed it, but I don't think that was necessarily going to come with the squad that he's got. But again, he has always said that he's up for changing things. He said he didn't want to change it when the press were telling him to change it because you look like you're weak and the club will, you're dead if you do that, basically. And that he's done it now because the players demand that he does change it. Losing Ahmad, having no attacking options at all, basically, at wing-back, is too difficult to keep playing that formation, I think. I mean, I know we've seen Dorgu, who would be one of those wing-back options that
Ballon d'Orgu.
That we're talking Ballon d'Orgu, yeah. That we're talking about not being attacking enough. He's playing him as a winger, so he is relying on him as an attacker. So maybe there's a little bit of a sort of trickery there from Amorim. It's not a back five, but we're playing with a full-back at the wing, so it sort of is a back five. But I do think that showing flexibility and showing some success with it as well is always a good thing. And once you've got the tenets of the system down, the way you want to make chances, the way you want to win the ball back, the type of intensity that is needed in the squad, once they seem to understand that, then having a bit of flexibility within that, for me, is a good thing. But I think if he'd have done it, probably could have done it a bit earlier, but if he'd have done it at the start or a couple of months in, I think it would have looked weak, and I think he would have struggled to ride out some of the more difficult times he's had. What do you think?
I think you can drive yourself insane, and trust me, I speak from experience, if you focus too much on what we should have done and could have done. Yeah. I think now we're at the stage where a lot of us wanted him to change it, myself included. He has done. Right, let's focus on that. Let's move forward. Let's not say... Because I could sit here and I could go, he should have done this in Bilbao against Spurs for that final, or he should have done this for the Everton game, or whatever. Yeah. And you just drive yourself insane because you're not going to get anywhere. And you can't go back in time and change that. We wanted him to do this, or many of us thought he should have done it. He's doing it now. Let's move forward and let's hopefully get results with this. Otherwise, we're all going to have egg on our faces when we say, oh, we should have changed it. He changed it and we're rubbish. You go, well, that didn't work, did it? Yeah. So hopefully, there's a few little green shoots there against Newcastle. It's early doors. One of the issues he's got is, and I suppose this is causing effect, he is missing key players. So, albeit we're playing against a very, very poor Premier League team, barely a Premier League team, in honesty, we are missing players that you mentioned, Ahmad and Bumo, Mazraoui. Also, it looks like De Ligt's still out, it looks like Maguire's still out, it looks like Mainoo's still out. I know Mainoo doesn't start games, but he features. Bruno Fernandes, I think this is only the second time since me and you've been doing it where we said Bruno Fernandes is unavailable for the game. How difficult is that going to be, do you feel? Because how do you marry that up with the fact that you've played a weak side, but you've also got a weakened side?
Well, as it says above us, it's a good time to have Wolves. Because if we ever needed a more winnable game. I'm not going to say it's a gimme, because no Premier League game is, even against Wolves. Now is the time we could have done with Wolves at home. So it's come at a lovely time. That being said, and we'll get to Wolves in a little bit, it's not a guarantee, this. And no team has ever finished on 2 points, and Wolves won't finish on 2 points.
Remember Southampton last season when they were on course?
Yeah.
For that bizarrely, right? Anyone who watches the channel will have noticed that rattled me, that win, more than all the losses. Yeah. Because we were
2-1.
So poor. I think it was 3-1, was it? Because Ahmad got an hat-trick.
Oh yeah.
We were so poor for so long in that game against the side that was doomed.
Yeah.
Not just doomed, was on course to be the worst side ever in Premier League history. That I couldn't get my head around what I was watching. It's one of the few times, and again, I know it won't be negative, but at Old Trafford, I almost didn't celebrate a United goal. I was almost embarrassed to be celebrating goals, because I was like, this isn't good enough. I mean, I did because I wanted to win, but it was like, what am I even watching? So you're right, and I've also watched Wolves a couple of times. I watched them against Arsenal, and even for a little spell against us, they had moments where you go, okay, you can't just ignore this team. Yeah. You can't dismiss them.
Was it 1-1 at half time? Or I
think it was, they got the equaliser in there. And then the player that got the equaliser, who's been their best player on the day, was it Bellegarde?
Yeah.
He went off injured. They were missing, is it Gomez, the player that we were kind of linked with for a bit, even though that looks like a load of nonsense. So you can't have it all your own way, and you have to be wary of that, because I think Arsenal struggled against them for a little while. They gave the Scousers a good game, I think, at the weekend.
The last sort of half an hour, Liverpool were, I don't want to say hanging on quite, but they weren't making any chances, and Wolves had a lot of the ball.
Yeah.
And Wolves didn't go on to make a load of chances either, but they got the ball in the box a lot. They were picking up the second balls. They put a lot of pressure on Liverpool, as they did against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And you look at a lot of their results, like it's 1-0s, 2-1s, 2-0s, 2-1s. Other than the United 4, they're not conceding loads of goals every week.
No.
It's 1s and 2s, and a lot of them are close games. Just to go through them, I know we'll get to Wolves specifically in a minute, but 2-0 loss to Villa, 1-0, 1-0, 4-1 United. Then there was a 2-1 loss against Arsenal, 2-0 against Brentford, and 2-1 against Liverpool. They're losing all the time. They're terrible. But considering they're the worst Premier League team ever, they're not getting battered every week. And the performances back that up as well. So I do think if United are going, right, Leeds away, we'll trip at Wolves. Yeah. We have to take this seriously, because as far as banana skins go and reputational damage goes, this is a real must-not-lose game.
It's a good point, because what sometimes happens at Old Trafford in particular, and we've seen it a few times, is teams come to Old Trafford and they've still got it in their head, this is United at Old Trafford, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
And then they weather the sort of initial storm. United usually quite active in the first sort of 10, 20 minutes, get at them. And then teams sort of grow in confidence and think, hang on a minute, you know what, we've got a chance here, we've got a fighting chance.
West Ham did that.
Yeah. And then they start like sort of growing in confidence, having that belief. The crowd get a little bit aggy, because we're like, well, what's going on? Players get nervy, United players. And we've seen that in a few games this season, where at Old Trafford in particular, we haven't quite been at the levels we should be, because teams have sort of grown in confidence. We've almost diminished in confidence, and it's been this sort of, perfect storm for teams to get a point or even more at Old Trafford. So hopefully that doesn't happen. With all that being said, then we'll get into the predicted 11s. Before we do that, I want to talk about score predictions, because we want you guys to get involved with the score predictions. Joe's going to tell us what to do.
It's very simple. Film yourself like this in landscape and send it to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. On your phone is fine. In landscape, 30 seconds or so. How's the game going to go? What's your score predictions? Tell us a little bit about the match as well. And we put that all together to start the watch. I'm sure you've seen it, for a little montage of all the fan predictions. Jay, your little wobbly hand is looking very good there. Almost looks like sort of like a nodding dog's head. Very nice. Send it to paddockmatchday@gmail.com.
Right, let's get into predicted 11s. And we know we've got injuries. We've been through all that. Joseph, give me your team. This is the team you think Ruben Amorim, the Manchester United manager, will pick for the game against Wolves.
I think he'll play it safe with Mason Mount. And other than that, I think it'll be unchanged.
Right,
I don't think he can change it. So I've gone, obviously you can see Lomans, Shaw, Martinez, Heaven, Dallo, Casemiro, Ugarte. I've gone with Xerxes in that number 10. Maybe doing a little bit of rotating.
Is it more of a sort of 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, I think it's a 4-2-3-1.
Than a 4-3-3.
I mean, but what is a 4-3-3? Because there's three midfielders there, so whether it's a little triangle, whether they're all in a line, you're going to have people getting up. Like when we used to play 4-4-2, Paul Scholes would say, if I got up, Keane would stay.
Yeah.
So is that a 4-1-4-1? Or is that a 4, you know what I mean? Or 4-1-4-2? Like, whatever the numbers are. You know what I mean? Like,
no goalkeeper, an extra attacker.
But like this whole thing of a 4-3-3 or 4-3-2-1 or 4-2-3-1 or 4-3, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the players are going to be playing more central if they're midfielders, playing more wide if they're wingers. Xerxes going to do what Xerxes does. He'll be just off the striker, and maybe he'll rotate a little bit. But the thing that you have to do when you're playing as a number 10 that Xerxes doesn't do when he's playing as a number 9 is track back, and you have to work hard going towards your own goal. And that's my big worry with him. So maybe we'll see sort of Cunha do a little switcheroony with him, Xerxes out on the left. In an ideal world, Mason Mount will be fit, and we won't have to worry about
Mason Mount's gone from being almost a forgotten man to being essential.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of the injuries as well. I think even when everyone's fit, Mason Mount gets into the team, and rightly so. I thought we lost quite a bit when Sesko went off the other night.
Yeah.
I think he's had his critics, and the amount of goals he scored, he's always going to be questioned for a player that came with a big reputation. But I thought he was causing the Newcastle defence problems, obviously at the bar. He was holding up the ball relatively well. He was challenging the air quite well. And that all went out the window when Xerxes came on. And I like Joshua Xerxes, but he wasn't really doing the things that you needed him to do for a player leading the line. So I get it. We've got injuries, and if he's going to put someone in instead of Mason Mount, he's going to have to find a way of probably putting Xerxes in, because I don't think he'll start someone like Fletcher.
Not from the beginning.
No, I don't. That's not a criticism of Fletcher by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a bit of an ask even against a Paul Wolves team. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mount isn't fit if he went with a team similar to the one or identical to the one you've chosen. Get involved in the chat in the comments and let us know what you think. For me, I've just gone glass half full. I've gone, we don't know, Mason Mount might not be fit, he might be, I'll go, he is fit, and if he is fit, obviously he's going to play. So my team is the same as Joe's, except I've got Mason Mount in there. Let us know what you think, get involved in the chat in the comments, and don't forget as well to check out the merchandise.
It's lovely, that one.
Nice little sweatshirt piece. There's a link in the description to our merch. Right, let's talk about Wolves. I'm going to be all analytical now, This is the tactical nous you get from me on this channel. They are shite.
I can't argue with that.
Yep.
The reintroduction of Wolves to the Championship,
I mean,
is well underway.
Yeah, they're as relegated as anyone's ever been in December.
They couldn't be more relegated if they tried.
I mean, they barely may as well, right, have not bothered. They've got 2 points all season.
Yeah, they're averaging 0.1 points per game. That's 3 times. Well, Derby averaged 3 times more than that in the worst ever season.
Wolves look at that Derby season and go, they get jealous of that Derby season.
The thing I don't understand? I really don't. Was that Derby's first season up?
No, because there was the time when Derby had like Sturridge and players like, not Daniel Sturridge, was it Dean Sturridge?
No, I mean in that spell.
Oh right, okay, sorry.
They been promoted the year before. I think they had.
I think they had. I know that. Was it Paul Jewell went there, didn't he, as manager halfway through the season?
The thing that I don't get with this is Wolves have been in the Premier League for the best part of a decade.
Yeah.
How do you go from being a team that year after year after year after year, even you're selling your assets, you get rid of Aitnour, you get rid of Cunha, I get it, you're going to diminish, and eventually you get sucked into a relegation battle that you just can't get your way out of. How do you go from being a decade-long stint in the Premier League to having 2 points after 18 games?
I have a slight theory, right?
Go on.
Have you ever seen The Italian Job?
Yeah.
You've seen at the end where the coach is like, it's on the cliff edge like that.
Yeah.
And he says like, don't worry lads, I've got an idea. Yeah? And it's like, if one person jumps off that coach, the coach just crashes.
Finished.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what's happened with Wolves, right? They've lost players after player after player after player after player after player, where it's been all right, you've got away with it, and then they lose someone like Mateus Cunha, and then all of a sudden, you go from being okay to just crashing, because that is just one player that takes you over the edge.
Because like we said before, some of those 1-0s and 2-1s might have been 1-0s, 2-0s.
Cunha's worth at least, I don't know. I know you might go, he's only scored a few goals United. He was banging him in for Wolves. Let's say he gives you 4 or 5 goals. That could be a win amongst that. That could be a couple of draws.
10 points.
And a bit of belief. Because you've got a player on the pitch, you go, you know what, if I can just get it to him, he'll do something with it.
Yeah.
Whereas now they're looking around going, Well, he's not really good. He's not going to do much. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It affects the whole psyche of the team. So I feel there's a little bit of that. You're right in the sense that it's proper extreme. We've seen teams lose players like Southampton did it, didn't they? They were selling the Lovrens and the Van Dijks and the Kleins and all the rest of it, and then eventually they got relegated. They were surviving, weren't they, doing really well? Yeah. Selling us Morgan Schneiderlin and stuff like that and Luke Shaw, and then they got relegated. But no one usually goes that far down. But I just feel like that was just the one that sort of the straw that broke the camel's back.
And the thing with it as well now, of course, is they know they're relegated. So even if they beat United, even if they beat Arsenal, it doesn't matter. You can't even celebrate it that much. What's the point? So I think what United have to do with that being said is get an early goal, get a second goal. Once you get that second goal, this game is done. But United need to get it because that's the one thing we haven't been getting in recent weeks. We've had plenty of games where we've scored 2 goals, but think how many of them were at 1-1.
Yeah.
It like Liverpool, obviously we had Forest, we had Tottenham, we had the Bournemouth game. We only ever were 1 goal up 3 times in that game. Even the Newcastle game, which we won, it's 1 goal in it. Yeah. Like so many of these games, even the ones we've won, have been 1 goal in it throughout the whole thing. Get 2 goals up like we did against Wolves last time, like we did against Sunderland. I think we'll have a very comfortable night. But it's about getting those 2 goals for me.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Because I think you've got to remember as well, if you give them something to hold on to, if it's the 85th minute and it's 1-0 to United, and they think we could get a point here, even like players that know they're relegated will still want to get a result at Old Trafford. They'll still want to put themselves in the shop window maybe, if they feel like they're going to leave the club in the summer. They'll still want that opportunity, won't they? And if you perform at Old Trafford, people are going to notice it. Yeah. So there's every reason to sort of respect Wolves without being, getting carried away. They are shite, like I said, but they're still a Premier League team, so you do have to sort of turn up to get that result. But I feel pretty confident we can. We'll go with your score prediction first.
I'm going to go 2-0.
Yep.
I think it'll be a comfortable 2-0 where we'll go. We should have got a few more, but we're happy with that.
Yeah.
And I would be really happy with that. Back-to-back clean sheets would be amazing. Clear distance between them so we don't spend the last 20 minutes with balls being pumped into our box. Yeah. And all you are then is a bit of bad luck and a deflection away from conceding and drawing. So if it's 2-0, I think that rules a lot of that out. And yeah, I'd love a 2-0 to be honest. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go with another 4-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Same again. 8-2. The Arsenal aggregate, they call it.
The Arsenal aggregate. The 3 Musketeers, all 4-1s. I think we'll do them again.
Really?
I think we will, yeah. I know it's tough, but I know it sounds insane. I actually think a lot of this depends on Mason Mount.
Yeah.
I think we'll still win without him, or we can still win without him. But I think if we've got him on the pitch, even with a slightly threadbare team, we can give him a bit of an hiding. Yeah. I think without him, it does push it a little bit towards the closer range. So I still fancy us for the win, but I don't think it'll be 4-1. But if Mount starts, and I'm predicting him to start, I think we'll win 4-1. Get involved in the chat in the comments and let us know what you think. Do you agree with Joe? Do you agree with myself? Do you have your own different score, different opinion? Don't forget to send your score predictions as well to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. And you can join us as part of the pre-match build-up for the watch-along. Go and check him out on the Sloppy Joe's podcast. You know where to find me. That's been Joe Smith. I've been Jay Moy. This has been a preview. Manchester United hosting Wolves in the Premier League. Thanks for watching.